The confusing part about trying to understand conservative, or far right-wing conservative, I would say, but conservative thought processes when it comes to cities is as follows. Conservatives are the capitalists, right? They're the ones that support and defend capitalism, free market capitalism, more than anybody else. Now, I'm a liberal Democrat who's also a capitalist, but the conservative side of politics in America is all about free market capitalism, right? If I make big blue plastic cups and a shit ton of people want to buy big blue plastic cups, then I get to be rich selling my big blue plastic cups, right? The more people want it, the more I can charge for it. Capitalism 101. But then they turn around and they say, the cities are the drain on us. The cities are the most expensive places to live. The cities are the problem. But the cities are where most of the money comes from. And the reason why it's more expensive to live in a city is because more people want to live in a city. The more people want something, the more you can charge for it, right? And it's not a theory. I'm not sitting here going, I think more people want to live in cities than urban areas. The data shows it. There are way more people in cities than there are in urban areas. So everything is going to be more expensive, and you're going to have more of everything. You're going to have more homicides. You're going to have more homeless people because you have more people. You're also going to have more restaurants and more theaters and more streets and more parking meters and more wheelbarrows and garden centers. You're going to have all kinds of more of everything. And the more people that are there, the more expensive it gets. But also the more people that are there, the more revenue is generated. So the people who claim to be the capitalists the most hate the areas that generate most of the money and that are a shining example of capitalism at work.
What cities are so expensive to live in? Democrat-run cities. You talk about redistribution again.
When those cities are expensive, do you acknowledge that those cities produce more economic output for the country than all the red cities? This is what I mean when I say these people don't live in reality. But why can't you acknowledge that? Because you'll very quickly say things like, oh, well, there are more homicides in Chicago. Yeah, there's more people that live in Chicago, and Chicago is what makes Illinois all its money. That's where the money comes from, or the blue cities. It's not just blue states that subsidize the existence of red states, which is true. And by the way, all of those governors were so happy for the American Rescue Plan when Biden was there to hand out money to shore up their budgets. But then when you want to talk about expenses and living and all these other things, now you want to talk about how blue cities need to be held responsible, but you don't give them credit for the economic output?
It's a nice deflection. So Democrat cities are the most expensive to live in, so I'm glad you at least acknowledge that. And again,
more expensive to live in the U.S. than Uganda as well, right? It is, right?
Yes, those big blue cities are more expensive to live in. Nobody is denying that because more people want to live there. If more people wanted to live in Biloxi, it would be as expensive to live in Biloxi as it is to live in San Francisco. It's that fucking simple. It's the supply and demand law for everything across the board. For years and years and years, the WNBA didn't draw shit, right? They didn't draw shit until this latest class of college female or college women basketball players came out into the pro leagues and just lit the league on fire, right? Until then, they were drawing 2,000 people, while the NBA was packing stadiums, whose tickets were more expensive. The NBA's. Why? They were more in demand, right? If you have a restaurant that everybody in the city wants to go to, you get to charge more if you want, because your shit is in more of a demand. That's capitalism 101. These big blue cities that you guys bitch about are the prime example of capitalism. They generate all of the money, most of the money. They generate most of the money in this country, and they are a prime example of a supply and demand capitalistic society that works. It's more expensive because more people want it. Where we have examples of that socialism is when your red states and your red cities take our blue state and blue city money, right? That's an example of socialism. So you guys claim to be capitalist, but you hate the most capitalistic things about the United States of America. Make it make sense.